Hi everybody, I'm Dream Rich of Dream Rich Beauty, and we're making soap today. And this is my first video that I'm posting to YouTube, so be gentle with me. So here I am with my oils for my soap, and I'm adding buttermilk powder to it. I love milks in my soaps. My mother was very big on skincare and beauty, so growing up, she would put milk in my bath, she would put honey in my bath. So I really grew up like understanding the moisturizing properties that, was in milk. So this is an ode to her. Thanks, Mom, showing me the finer things in life very early. So here I am, I'm just stick blending the buttermilk into the oils to make sure that they are fully incorporated so that my batter is smooth. I know that it's throughout. There's no milk clumps or anything that's in my batter. And so you're going to see me now just kind of wiping the oil off. And this would make sense if I wasn't going to put it back inside of my batter because it's time for me to add my lye mixture. But, sometimes we do things and it's like, what am I doing? So I just let it run down the stick blender shaft just so it can cut back on air bubbles. And so now I'm just blending to get me to about a medium trace. I'm not a really big fan of doing light traces, and the reason why is because sometimes I'm not sure if I've blended enough. Like, is my batter separating? And when you're making soap, you want to make sure that your lye and your oils come together because that is how we make soap. Otherwise, there will be lye pockets, and that is not safe. You cannot use that. So that's why I like to get to about a medium trace. As you can see, my stick blender is covered with batter, nothing separating. It's not thick, but you can tell that they have bonded together. And I'm trying to get every last bit of batter out because we waste nothing over here. Waste not, want not. So now what I'm doing is I'm bringing out my scale because I want to split my batter in half. So that's what I'm doing here because I want to have in the pot swirl. So do I need to make sure that it was completely even? Maybe not, but I'm going to save a little bit, which you'll see later. So I brought my scale out. So I'm just making sure things are even. See if I needed to add a little more because this is a small scale, but it is very accurate, especially for when I'm doing grams. So I love that scale. Now I'm adding mica to my batter. And so that is a teal color. I want to say I got it from Nurture Soap. And I can't think of the name offhand, but I'll add it to the description box below. Look at me being a YouTuber, okay? And I love that purple. It's called Cheshire, I believe, Cheshire Cat. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And that is from Nurture Soap. And I had gotten a sample bag of it. So I was like, you know what? I have a little left. I want to use it. I believe I used it in bath bombs prior to this. So I wanted to use the rest of that. And I definitely have to order more. So now I'm adding in my fragrance oil, which is it's a unisex smell to me. I really liked it afterwards. When I first used it, I'm like, okay, it's kind of a manly scent. I like it, it's good. But once I added it to the batter, I really, really like the scent of it. And I anchor mine with kaolin clay. And kaolin clay has a bunch of benefits for the skin, but it also allows for that fragrance to stick. So you'll see a lot of soap makers say that they use it to anchor their fragrance, and that is what it means. So once the bar saponifies and once it cures over time, sometimes you can lose scent. And so that kaolin clay just makes sure that the scent lasts. And so I'm just going to get the rest of this purple off, which really doesn't matter because with soap it's pretty thick. So when I go to add it into the other batter, the purple really wouldn't make a difference. But I want all the purple to go inside of the purple container. So again, I'm trying to get every little drip drop out. And then I'm going to go into the teal bucket in a minute, but I'm a little OCD. I wanted to get everything off the sides. I wanted to mix it again. Would I say I'm a perfectionist? I don't know. I don't think so. But looking back at these videos, I notice I do a lot of tweaking before I get to the end results. But here I am now, just mixing the teal. And one thing about blue greens when you're making soap, they don't really hold true to the color that you may see. And that's true for a lot of the micas that we use in soap. A lot of times once we get to the process of cutting the soap, it may not be that color. So it changes. It's not going to be as bright teal as I want it to be because I love the color that it is now. But blues and greens, they definitely do that. They don't usually stay true. And I've noticed that sometimes with other micas I get, I'll like love them, but then I'll love them even more once the bar has saponified and I've cut it and the true color comes out. So sometimes it's like, you don't get the color that you see and you love it. And so you're kind of sad. And then sometimes you don't even expect that the colors will pop the way they do once it saponifies. So I'm going to do a little something extra to the top of my soap. So here I am just taking off some of it, and I did need to calculate this part because I wanted to make sure I still had enough for my mold. I didn't want to eye it, but it's not a lot because I'm not doing a whole lot to the top, but I wanted to make sure that I took out enough and still had enough for the soap mold. And as you can see, it's getting pretty thick because I stick blended it probably way too longer to make sure I had that medium trace. So the batter is not going to pour like I would like for it to be if it was a thinner batter, but I'm still doing my in the pot swirl. It's still going to come out, pretty, but if it was a looser batter, then the swirls would be smaller. They would not be as thick, and you'll see that later when I cut how the swirls came out. But it still came out great. And it's this batter here was just kind of, let me see what I can do with these colors. I had no plan with this soap going in. I usually like to plan it out, what I'm doing, what theme is it, because I'm getting ready for fall. But with this, it was just like, I just want to make something. Let's see what we can make. So, again, this is my first video. So, I did not pour this where you could probably see it how I would like for you to see it, but it is what it is. We got what we got. But basically this the way I poured it with the in the pot swirl, you'll see that it's kind of incorporated over throughout the soap. And you'll see that again at the end once I cut it. But I wish, my hand wasn't in the way, but at least you see I'm gloved up. Safety first. But so I'm getting like the rest of it out. Like I said, I do not like to waste soap. So I'm scraping the bowl and I am getting every drop out that I can because waste not, want not. And now I'm just shaking it and bouncing it on my table to get the air bubbles out. And I have a soap room, but I did this on my dining room table. That's how I got started before I had a soap room. So Here I am bouncing this on my glass. Good job, Dream. But yeah, I'm just getting the rest of the soap out to make sure I'm using every last bit of it, because what am I going to do with it once it's dry to the bowl? Nothing. So get it all into the mold. And now I'm just doing like a little swirl design on top. You won't really see it, but it was just so I don't really have that blob of soap just sitting in the middle. I could have smoothed it out as well, but this is what I chose to do. And it comes together in the end once I figure out what type of design I was going to do. So, yes, my gloves are pretty foggy because I get hot. But this is just like such a super basic design. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just did something. And as I did it, I was like, okay, let's make some swirls. Let's make it look pretty. And then as I got to like, really doing it, I'm like, hey, this reminds me of the ocean. I don't know if you guys see it, but I see it. Like it just made me think of waves. Now, are waves purple? No. No, they're not. But I still see the ocean, maybe because of the teal. But as soon as I saw it, I was like mermaid ocean. And I was not trying to do a mermaid soap at all whatsoever. So we're not going with mermaid or ocean when I figure out what I'm going to name this soap. But that really just made me think of waves crashing. And I'm at the end of my batter basically, but there's some there. I don't want to waste it. So you can't see because I didn't have the camera right. But I wanted to kind of fill in some gaps in areas where I thought maybe it wasn't as pretty. And, just add some more little swirls to the top. Just so, I'm using all my batter. And sometimes I'm not a really good piper. So sometimes, I mess up on my piping. So when I have a little extra, I just go in, fill in some areas, and that's it. And here I am going ham with glitter. Because why not? We all love glitter, right? I know I love glitter. So I'm doing purple glitter. I'm doing blue glitter. And just when you thought that was it, I hit you with iridescent glitter because you can never have too much glitter. And just look how pretty that made it look. I think it looks pretty. It just really made the design pop out. And then once I realized that, this reminds me of the ocean, I decided we needed a little sand. But this is not an ocean soap, okay? But I broke out my pink Himalayan sea salt and decided that I was going to do some sand. And I have fine, I have coarse, and I have like the extra chunky. And just when you thought that I was done with that, I broke out the black sea salt. Because I thought it would go. I don't know. We're just winging it here. And then I don't know if you see it, but that one section just had way too much. Like I got there and I just shook a little too much. I was like, yeah. So I'm pushing some of the sea salt in because I know once I cut it, I'm going to lose some. And then I decided to take just one piece out from that area that I poured too much and just, I guess, move it over. And then I'm spritzing it with some alcohol, not a lot because I don't want to lose my glitter, because it is biodegradable glitter, but I don't want soda ash. So spray with a little 99% alcohol. And look how pretty that looks. It looks so pretty to me. Let me know if you guys think that it looks pretty and that doesn't look like a wave crashing. And then that's the soap cut. So thank you. Like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think.